Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame Satyamayi Parame Satyamayi Parame Satyam Jnanam Satyam Jnanam Jyotir Arvinda Satyam Jnanam Satyam Jnanam Jyotir Arvinda Satyam Jnanam Satyam Jnanam Jyotir Arvinda Jyotir Arvinda Jyotir Arvinda. So it's interesting that the word cosmos etymologically means perfect order. So if we look at the cosmos, it's actually complete chaos. But if we look deeper into the chaos, there's a perfect order in the chaos. The chaos is always leading to something, paving the way for something. So what is it that brings order into this chaos? Obviously, there's a higher intelligence which is working through everything and bringing order to in the apparent chaos. So in the scriptures, this intelligence which brings order in the chaos is called the Adi Shakti, Aditi, or the Divine Mother. So the Divine Mother, of course, she has a form, and she says that she was working for 900 years on occult planes to create a body and come down to earth. But she also says that if you limit your intimacy with me to just my form, then you're limiting my force to 30% or less. So she is her form, but she is much more than her form also. And the topic for today is nearness to the mother. We must remember that yes, it is a form, and it's a beautiful form, and the fact that she took a form has a very special purpose. But the mother is a formless intelligence which is present in everything and everywhere. So we mustn't just look for her in this form. If we look for her just here and exclude the world at large, then it becomes what Sri Aurobindo says. People say I love God but I hate man, then who is it that they love? Because the real body of God is his becoming in his creatures. So now we read Sri Aurobindo and the mother's words. You are the mother's child, and the mother's love to her children is without limit, and she bears patiently with the defects of their nature. Try to be the true child of the mother. It is there within you, but your outward mind is occupied by little futile things, and too often in a violent fuss over them. You must not only see the mother in dream, but learn to see and feel her with you and within you at all times. Then you would find it easier to control yourself and change, for she being there would be able to do it for you. So Sri Aurobindo has said again and again in his yoga that his yoga cannot be done by any human effort. That for his yoga, mother will have to be called down to the littlest detail and work it out for us. Now, when we don't feel the mother also, she is working in each one to make evolution possible. But when we feel her and we invite her, the whole crux of his yoga is this constant invitation to the mother into everything. And I keep saying that's what Sri Aurobindo's symbol is. It starts with the ascending triangle, which is the call to the divine. Only when that call happens, the descending triangle, the divine's answer comes concretely. So Sri Aurobindo has gone as far as saying that without aspiration, no spiritual life is possible in his yoga. The first step is the aspiration, the call, the yearning to the divine, to invite the mother into every little thing that we do and to feel her constantly with us, not just in meditation, not just in contemplation, but whatever we are doing, if we call her, we'll feel her presence. And everything in life becomes so rich and beautiful the moment we can really invite her presence into everything. So, this says, live in yourself with the mother. I was feeling very happy alone in my room with an inner feeling of the mother's consciousness. When I went to see X, I felt ill at ease and I lost the inner contact with the mother. How many of you feel this, that you feel the mother's presence, but the moment you step out or you meet people, you feel you've lost that presence? When we mingle with people, we get so involved with them that we don't stay connected. So that's what this person asked the mother. But I cannot always remain secluded. What is the best thing to do? Sri Aurobindo replies, you have to learn to live in yourself and with the mother, in contact with her consciousness, and meet others only with your exterior surface. This is so beautiful. To live in yourself with the mother, in contact with her consciousness, and meet others only with your exterior surface. Can anyone describe what this could mean? What does it mean to meet others only with the exterior surface? What could it mean?
Without
Yeah.
being too attached or too emotionally, just being centered inside and then.
Yes, what happens is we remember mother when we come here, we are in difficulty, but when we are with people, somehow for most of us we only remember our ego. What I mean by that is we get involved in what do I say to her, how do I appear to her, I, the ego. We remember ourselves out of survival, because the ego has to present itself in a certain way to people in order to live. That's what our conditioning tells us. So we get so involved in that, or we are attached to somebody, we want to appear good in their eyes, whatever we want to. So it becomes about me, it doesn't become about the mother anymore. And that's where we lose ourselves. But if through practice we can be so firmly anchored in the mother that whatever we do, some part of our consciousness is keeping her in the background. She becomes our background consciousness, as they call it. And that consciousness is always at the back, and only my surface being is interacting with people. So if my priority is the mother, how people receive me becomes a second priority. Otherwise, that's the first priority. But because I feel I can source my happiness from if people like me, if people do this, if people do that. But if I'm already sourcing my happiness from mother, whatever I do, I'm not looking to people to fulfill me. And that's the biggest gift I can give myself, because to look to people to fulfill me is to ask for disappointment time after time. Mother has said it very clearly that understand that every human being will let you down. Human beings are imperfect. Don't expect perfection from them. Only the divine is for you if you are for the divine. So if the divine is a first priority, and I'm interacting with people, not looking for them to make me feel special or happy, because I'm already feeling special and happy in my relationship with the mother, then automatically I'll be less dependent on them. Their power to hurt me will be less, because if they don't fulfill an expectation, okay, I wasn't expecting out of you anyways. I'll get what I want from the mother. If that becomes the way I live, I'm not putting that impossible demand on them to make me happy or be how I want them to be. And all my relationships will flower. So the important key is to make mother a constant background consciousness, and to actually source everything I need from her rather than from the world or from people. But how can I do that? Why is that difficult to do in practical life? Just think, what I'm saying may make sense to your mind, but why is it difficult to do in day-to-day living?
Even when you're not with people also, and even if you by yourself, it's not necessary that you're connecting to mother. Even if you
Excellent, Mansi. The answer is, if I'm not connected with her, then how can I anchor in her? So the important thing is to find that connection with her. And for that, it's very important to take out a little time every day. The mother said, just give me half an hour every day. Sit half an hour with me and connect with me. Then you create a current. If half an hour is not possible, sit 12 minutes. 12 is her number. It's not possible, maybe your mind will wander away 10 minutes out of the 12. But even 2 minutes, if you've really connected with her, that connection will hold you through the day. And I feel instead of one whole hour, connect 3-4 minutes many times a day. Just put a timer on your phone and 3-4 minutes put down everything and just connect with the mother in your heart. And if you do, that's the very important thing that you say. If you don't only have a connection with her in your quiet, you can come in your quiet time. What are the chances that you'll be able to connect with her when the whole world is weighing down on you? It's not possible. So it's important to connect on a daily basis with her, very important before you sleep, because actually when you go to sleep, your consciousness goes into other planes of your being, planes you're not aware of. And if you fall asleep in a certain plane of being, you stay there the whole night. So if you fall asleep tired, agitated, whatever, it multiplies in your sleep and you wake up tired. But if you've connected with the mother and you fall asleep with that connection, your consciousness goes to higher planes and works on that, and in fact, what lucid dreaming is, if you can be conscious of your dreams, to that extent the veil between the inner world and your outer consciousness becomes thinner. Because in sleep, you're in inner worlds, right? Your outer consciousness is out of the way, but you wake up without any memory of it because you haven't built a passage between your outer consciousness and the inner world. And if you practice the yoga of sleep, as Mother says, and you make it a habit to, as soon as you wake up, jot down everything you remember, more and more you're thinning the veil between your outer consciousness and the inner world, and more those inner worlds are more accessible to you. So a very good time to meditate on the Mother is definitely before you sleep, maybe when you get up, so that if you've gotten up, you haven't gone to very nice realms in the sleep, you can remove those cobwebs. 3 minutes during the day, anytime, 3 minutes anyone can take out. You're feeling very rattled, instead of doing anything, just put aside everything, concentrate on the Mother for 3 minutes instead of addressing the situation, and you will see how she'll address it. Everything, the moment you get your connection with her and she steps in, everything outside will fall into place. But it's important to get that connection. So, yes?
You said that when you are dealing with others, you have to deal with them with your outer surface consciousness and keep Mother as the background consciousness. But you also say that when you interact with people, you have to see her also in them.
Yes. So if she's the background consciousness, it will be very easy for you to see her in them.
Background consciousness there also.
In you, because you're seeing from that background consciousness, no? It will be easier for you to see Mother in them if you're connected to the Mother in you. Otherwise, it's just a mental thought.
Good question. How does it relate to the aura or vibrations? When you meet some people, you can feel very positive vibrations. Are they may be devotees of some gurus, but are they following the same practice of maintaining the inner silence and the inner balance? Because
Who knows what they are doing? Who knows what they are doing? Because we don't know really what they are doing. But if you get good vibrations, why question it? You're getting it. Okay. So, need of peace. The one thing that is most needed for this sadhana is peace, calm, especially in the vital. A peace which depends not on circumstances or surroundings, but on the inner relation with a higher consciousness, which is the consciousness of the divine, of the Mother. Those who have not that or do not aspire to get it can come here and live in the ashram for 10 or 20 years and yet be as restless and full of struggle as ever. Those who open their mind and vital to the Mother's strength and peace can get it even in the hardest and most unpleasant work. Here she is saying it. Those who open their mind and vital to the Mother's strength and peace can get it. It means the peace even in the hardest and most unpleasant work and the worst circumstances. Okay, so let's sit quietly. Oh, that's Kaushali. I hadn't registered till now. Okay, sit still, sit tall. Open your heart. And let's actually try and connect with the Mother. And then when we open our eyes, see if we can hold her as the background consciousness throughout class. So, put your right hand on your chest, left palm over it. Gather all the scattered threads of your awareness and plunge them into your heart. Focus in the heart. center of the chest, nothing to do with your physical organ heart. And inhale, repeating the word mother or ma. Exhale, repeating the word mother or ma. If there's any image of the Divine Mother or your highest reverence, you can bring that. And just articulating the word ma or mother as you breathe in, as you breathe out. As we'll see later, Satprem says that each of us has a password to enter inner worlds, and that password works for us alone. And that password is our aspiration, our call to the Mother. So with all the aspiration you can gather, Ma on the inhalation, Ma on the exhalation, with or without an image of her in the heart, whatever works better for you. Some of you may find that quite spontaneously the aspiration in your heart climbs to the overhead space. Something just ascends to the top of the head and beyond. So inhale, enter the heart, climb up to the overhead space with Ma. Exhale, just the word Ma in the overhead space. Now half open your eyes, still feeling Mother in the heart or overhead, with an intention that even as you're listening to me, she remains the background consciousness. As if that background consciousness is the first priority, no matter what you do, whether you're speaking or listening. Whatever my other relationships may be, may not be, my relationship with the Mother is my first priority now and as an intention throughout the day. And just maintain that, and at the end of the class, let's see how successful you've been as you slowly open your eyes. Anything to share? Any questions about this practice? Can you maintain that even with your eyes open? Can you? Kind of? Trying to. Very good. So love for the Mother and others. Both the love for the Mother, which you feel so strongly, and the other tendency of harmony and affection with those with whom you live or work come from the psychic being. When the psychic intensifies its influence, this love for the Mother becomes strong and is the main mover of the nature. But there is also a feeling of goodwill, harmony, kindness or affection towards others which also comes up and is not so much personal as the result of the soul's inmost relation to all souls who are children of the mother. So there's a line in Savitri, our self shall be one self with all through her. Because the mother is in everyone. When you really love her, you don't have to make an effort to connect with others. Through that love, you genuinely feel a softening towards everyone, because somehow the psychic knows they are all parts of the mother. They are all children of the mother. They are all portions of the mother. So you don't have to make an effort to be compassionate or kind. When you're connected, see, when you love the mother, you'll automatically feel a softening towards everyone. When you're disconnected with her, you'll feel a hardening towards everyone. There is no harm in this psychic feeling. On the contrary, it creates happiness and harmony. It is only the vital love between persons that has to be rejected. You know what happens is, when you get this psychic connect with people, sometimes the vital will jump in and create all kinds of mixtures in the relationship. You know, the vital has jumped in when there's attachment, aversion, possessiveness. All these are flavors of the vital jumping in. So Sri Aurobindo was never against a psychic relationship, even between man and woman. The ashram was very liberal, it never restricted that. But it said the moment the vital comes in, everything gets vitiated, because if the vital takes the sort of stronghold, the psychic retreats. Because the vital will bring your ego forward, and the moment your ego comes forward, your self takes a back seat. The ego and self can't be in the forefront together, just like light and darkness cannot be together. If one comes forward, the other retreats. So it's that vital mixture which we have to be careful of. There is no harm in this psychic feeling. On the contrary, it creates happiness and harmony. It is only the vital love between persons that has to be rejected, because it draws away from full consecration to the divine. Because then you're consecrated to your egoic attachment to the person, then your consecration to the mother becomes that much weaker. But this helps the growth of the soul into the mother's consciousness, and helps the work, and helps also the inner life to grow. Any questions on this? It's a very important topic, because very often the vital gets mixed in our relationship with people, and
Psychic relations with people as such.
of course you do. If you've come to the mother, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, but generally interactions.
The psychic is veiled when the vital is in front, but that's what I'm saying. If mothers, your background consciousness, automatically the psychic will enter your relationships. Otherwise, it's largely a vital exchange, which eventually drains you.
But most relationships are like that with anybody.
They tend to be, but they can change. And it can't change out of a thought. It only changes if you really invite the mother's presence into your being, because only that presence can change it. Otherwise, the vital pull is so strong, you can't fight it.
But you can do that if the other person is not following the same thing, then you again become.
No, let the person do whatever, but if you really have your connect with the mother, that connect will either change that person, or if that person's not meant to you, he'll be whisked out of your life.
I have a question. Does karma play any role in this? See, today when we
A
meet,
little loud, Avisha.
does karma play any role in this? Because there are certain people, karmically we are close. There are certain people, karmically we may not have the same relation with. Okay, like, even though they may be blood relations or they may be any sort of karma also is there, because see, you know, it's karma that I have a husband, I have so many people we've chosen each other. But so when we are in a situation where we do not get along or we have our differences, is karma and vital and then this consciousness working, is there any role of karma behind this consciousness? Because how much ever I try, karmically we are not meant to be, we have separate parts. How will I then have a softness? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I get your question. Of course, karma is there. Karma is the matrix, no? The software program of consciousness that is carving relations. But Avisha, grace is something that supersedes karma big time. So, if you call mother into the equation and her grace steps in, as I said, either the person will change, or if the person's not meant to be, he'll be taken out of your life. But either way, mother won't keep you in this limbo of disharmony that so many relationships are stuck in. Something will change. When you invite her in, something will surely change.
I just want to share
Loudly, please.
I just want to share something. It's now an observed phenomenon. So before mother was in my life, if I was faced with a problematic relationship, for some reason I would switch off the mode from your regular interaction, and I would, before going to sleep, I would try and reach to the soul of that. Reach as in would just say, I hope you get me. I mean well. And I would see a miraculous turning
The next
very
day.
next day. But now that has just disappeared. So now all I have to do is mother take care of this, and because you know me and you know the other person. So and again there's a miraculous turning also the next day.
Yes.
So I think there's something working in the background
Yes.
which one can reach even if you're so sometimes you have a stranger who reacts to you in a weird way, and you kind of don't know why, because the interaction has not been too long. But I think if you go out of this usual circuit and take a step back, it just settles by itself.
Absolutely. If you connect with mother in those moments of difficulty, last week I was so zapped. I had a disagreement with someone, and when I called that person, he says, I don't want to talk to you. He messaged me, I don't want to talk to you, I'm upset. So I just left it, and I just concentrated on mother. Whenever I'm upset, my go-to is mother. So I don't break my head with people, because you will keep breaking your head, it will break, people won't change. But I concentrated on the mother, and I opened my eyes and my eyes fell on the mobile. That person was calling me. In 3 minutes, the whole anger was gone. We had a perfectly sensible conversation. The argument dissolved and I put down the phone. Now, I couldn't wrap my mind around it, because that person clearly wrote, I'm angry, I don't want to talk to you, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I said, okay, I left it. And I know that by the 3 minutes that connected with mother, I was good, I was okay, whatever happened. And the moment I open my eyes, I see the phone ringing and the person calls. So I mean, it's so instantaneous. To give you another example, recently I took children to Pondicherry, and there was one girl who was very, very upset about a friend who had just cut her out and wouldn't speak to her at all without giving any reason. So I had told her to just concentrate on mother and do a particular practice with that friend, asking mother to give her a closure in the relationship. Because it's very vague, you're so close to a person and suddenly the person vanishes without giving you any answer. So she was very upset. So we reached Bombay on Saturday. Sunday morning she messages me that I just can't believe this. As soon as I came back, after 2 months, this person messaged me, "Hi, did you want to talk to me?" Then of course they've gone apart, that's different, but at least she got what she wanted. She got the closure she was looking for. So I told her, doesn't matter if the relationship is over, but it at least tells you that you have a hotline for the rest of your life. If ever you're stuck, you know where you can turn and you'll get instant answers. So giving oneself to the mother gives whatever is necessary for each one. She does not withhold what one requires and is capable of receiving. It is we who are not ready to receive what she gives. The mother gives whatever is necessary for each one. She does not withhold what one requires and is capable of receiving. It is we who are not ready to receive what she gives. Yes, mother is always willing to give, and nothing pleases her better than to see her children receiving what she gives. This is such a touching statement. Nothing pleases her better than to see her children receiving what she has to give. So in other words, whenever we close our doors and we are not receptive, that's what would not please her, no? That we are closing our doors on her. But her joy is in giving. Even when she was very little, we know the story of how she would, hardly 12 or 13, rise out of her body wearing a huge golden robe, and all the people who were sick and ailing would be reaching out for that robe, and they'd go back to their body healed. And even then, she said nothing gave her more joy than these nightly activities, right from the time she was little. What gave her joy was when she could give and we receive. And she can't give till that call happens, no? That's the purpose of his symbol. It has to start with a call. If we remain very complacent in ourselves and don't have an aspiration and don't call, then even whatever she wants to give us, we don't receive it. So, bhakti for the mother. When the mother looked at me this evening from the terrace, I felt a deep upsurge of devotion towards her. It is this I have hungered for, and so long as I feel this bhakti, I feel as though I have little else to desire. Grant that I may have the ahaitu bhakti without aim, without conditions. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the desire for bhakti is not a desire at all. So I trust I am not making any bargain by desiring it, as bhakti is of the essence of the divine. To ask for it must be legitimate, no? Sri Aurobindo answers, the desire for the divine or of bhakti for the divine is the one desire which can be free from all the others. At the core, it is not a desire, but an aspiration, a soul need, the breath of existence of the inmost being. So beautifully he's worded. Desire for the divine is the breath of existence of the inmost being, and as such it cannot be counted among desires. In fact, when we are overcome by desires for other things, it's beautiful to remind myself, but I desire the mother more. I want her more than this. So let that one desire supersede all other desires. So whenever I'm getting lost in frustration because this desire is not being fulfilled or that desire is not being fulfilled, it's beautiful to connect with her and to remind myself, deep down, I desire the mother more, and that's unconditionally true. Deep down, every desire culminates in my desire for the mother, because Actually, I'm desiring God in everything. But because I don't know it, by the time that aspiration comes to the surface, it becomes distorted and I'm desiring this, I'm desiring that. But it's good to go back to the source and say that actually I'm desiring you, and that's more than anything else. So these are words of the mother, I am with you. Mother gives always to each one the love he needs. We are always crying that I'm not loved enough because I'm looking for love from the world outside. But if I really turn to the mother and I get love from her, I will see that I'm always getting the love I need. How do I feel this love? I'm very unhappy, I'm walking on the road. Out of the blue, a stranger gives me a beautiful smile. Out of the blue, I'm read to read exactly what I needed to read. Is that not her love language? I'm always looking for love from these one or two people, but mother's pouring love into me from the whole universe, but I'm just not open to seeing it. Mother says, I'm always seated in your heart, consciously living in you. What an assurance. In each of us, the mother says, you don't even have to look for me away. I am seated in your heart. So there's that beautiful story of Draupadi's Vastraharan. So we all know that when her robe was pulled, it kept getting pulled and it didn't stop till the effort was given away. And later on, when Draupadi met Krishna, she told him that, why did you take so long in answering my prayers, where so much of my sari had to come off before you came? So Krishna asked her, what did your prayer go like? So she said, first I prayed to you as, O Krishna, Lord of the world, Jagdish, come and help me. So Krishna smiled and said, what was your second prayer? She said, my second prayer was, O Krishna, Dwarkadish, the Lord of Dwarka, come and save me. Krishna smiled wider and said, what was your next prayer? And she said, at last I said, O Krishna, the Lord of my heart. And Krishna said, that's when I came, because if you think I'm the Lord of the world, I take a long time to come from the world to you. If you think I'm the Lord of Dwarka, I'll still take a long time to come from Dwarka to you. But if you know me as the presence in your heart and you call me from there, I come to you instantly. So there's a deep lesson in this. The more remote we think God is from us, the more remote God is. But the closer we feel God is, and what's closer than something that's in our heart, and we call God from there, there's an instant answer. So I'm always seated in your heart, consciously living in you. Open your heart and you will find me already there. Don't be restless. Remain quietly concentrated in your heart and you will find me there. Go deep inside the temple and you will find me there. All souls who aspire are always under my direct care. So beautiful. She's saying all souls who aspire are always under my direct care. Mother is with all those who are sincere in their aspiration towards a divine life. What does a divine life mean? What does it mean to have an aspiration towards a divine life?
To live with ideals, to live with principles, ideals.
Not necessarily, Dwanil. But I don't know what you mean by principles and ideals also. Not things that are conditioned, not moral ideals. What would it mean to have an aspiration to live a divine life? in Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga. We are talking in that context.
To be prepared at any point in time for the divine to come and to receive. I think he says it, or Mother says it somewhere in different words. That all
Okay.
times we have
Well,
to
what
be
would it
prepared.
mean to be prepared? What goes into that preparation?
So to live through the psychic,
What does it mean to live through the psychic?
To be not the previous chapter that you spoke about, not to be so much into the vitals and be more connected to the psyche.
So, to live the divine life, it only happens when mother's my all consuming first priority. When you're willing to turn your back on anything else to face the mother, to open yourself to her. Till then, divine life doesn't begin. Till then, you're just living a normal life, and when you're in trouble, okay, you turn to mother, but that's not called living a divine life. The divine life is when your being is consciously always turning to her, always calling her into the equation of the moment, when she really is your all. Then it's living a divine life. So it's okay if I'm not living that divine life yet. Let me know at some future time it's the ideal I can grow into. Because most of us just live, even if we are devotees of the mother, we live a very normal life consumed by our day-to-day chores. And when we are in difficulty, we think of her, or we'll read a little bit, we'll talk a little bit about her, but she's not really a part of our living. Then it's not living a divine life at all. So, the mother is with all those who are sincere in their aspiration towards a divine life. I am all, and remember, if you hold this aspiration, you're making her the happiest, because we said earlier that nothing pleases the mother more than when her children receive what she wants to give. So this is one way you can really make her happy. I am always present near you, in you, and my blessings come with me. I chose this as my Diwali message to all of you because it's such a beautiful line. I am always present near you, in you, and my blessings come with me. So because mother is always near us and in us, her presence itself is a blessing in our life. So she doesn't come just as a thought, she comes as a pouring of eternal blessings on us. So I am always present near you, in you, and my blessings come with me. Be sure that I'm always present among you to guide and help you in your work and your sadhana. For the moment, the important thing is to cultivate this widening and deepening of the consciousness, which enables you to feel my constant presence with you, to feel it in a real and concrete way, which will bring you an immutable peace. For the moment, the important thing is to cultivate this widening. Widening means to see the mother in everything, that's widening. Deepening means to feel the mother in yourself, to feel her presence. For the moment, the important thing is to cultivate this widening and deepening of the consciousness, which enables you to feel my constant presence with you, to feel it in a real and concrete way, which will bring you an immutable peace. So beautiful. To feel the mother is to feel an unchanging peace, because whatever happens, you're not threatened. You know the mother will take care of it. Somebody is angry at you, no problem, mother's going to take care of that. Something goes wrong, no problem. I have mother, she's going to handle it. It becomes like a constant thing in you. Then you can't lose your peace of mind over anything. Keep always this awareness of my constant loving presence. So beautiful. Keep the awareness of my constant loving presence, to feel constantly loved by her, and all will be all right. That's all you have to do, to feel. So these beautiful lines, I'm going to read them without explanations, just soak them in. It's a piece titled, I Am With You. Mother gives always to each one the love he needs. I am always seated in your heart, consciously living in you. Open your heart and you will find me already there. Don't be restless. Remain quietly concentrated in your heart and you will find me there. Go deep inside the temple and you will find me there. All souls who aspire are always under my direct care. Mother is with all those who are sincere in their aspiration towards a divine life. I am always present near you, in you, and my blessings come with me. Be sure that I'm always present among you to guide and help in your work and your sadhana. For the moment, the important thing is to cultivate this widening and deepening of the consciousness, which enables you to feel my constant presence with you, to feel it in a real and concrete way, which will bring you an immutable peace. Keep always this awareness of my constant loving presence, and all will be all right. Further, these words of the mother, I am you. She says, I am you on all levels, on all planes, from the supreme consciousness down to the most physical consciousness. Here in Pondicherry, you cannot breathe without breathing my consciousness. It saturates the atmosphere almost materially in the subtle physical and extends to the lake 10 kilometers from here. Further, my consciousness can be felt in the material vital, then on the mental plane and the higher planes everywhere. So, and this is really true. Every time I take children to Pondicherry who don't know anything about the mother, like this time it was so touching. There was one girl, we were at the Samadhi, and she comes and wakes me up, and there are tears streaming down her eyes, and she's saying, Miss, I don't know what's happening. I was just sitting before mother's picture, in the meditation room, and I was looking at her, and I don't know why these tears are just coming, and they are baffling me because I've never cried without feeling sad. There's no sadness in me, and these tears are just coming, so I don't understand what's happening. So I told her, don't worry, this has happened to me many times. It's a good thing, just sit. So she sat for 40 minutes, tears were streaming down. And then later she said her friends who were looking at her told her that you were crying, but you were smiling ear to ear. And she said that I've never felt this peaceful ever. So that's what it's, when we are in Pandi, there's a very special emanation of the mother which paves the way for these experiences. So, Bijal. And then it's beautiful, when we came back to Bombay, she told me that, earlier if I was ever upset, I needed to talk to a friend, get an opinion. But now I'm just sitting with myself and I replay that experience. I bring that picture in my heart and I just get answers to what I need to know. So it's such a big gift to discover that the best friend you can ever have is this mother's promise that I am in you, I am with you. Turn to me rather than to any other human being. And she said very wisely that human beings can help, but beyond a point they can't get you. What's inside you can get you more than any other human being can. So it's so beautiful that at the age of 14 she's got this. She saved herself so much suffering that we go through expecting human beings to give us what they can't. So that's what she's saying here in Pondicherry. You cannot breathe without breathing my consciousness. It saturates the atmosphere almost materially in the subtle physical and extends to the lake 10 kilometers from here. Further, my consciousness can be felt in the material vital, then on the mental plane and the other higher planes everywhere. When I came here for the first time, I felt the atmosphere of Sri Aurobindo, felt it materially at a distance of 10 miles, 10 nautical miles, not kilometers. It was very sudden, very concrete, an atmosphere pure, luminous, light that lifts you up. It's now long since Sri Aurobindo has put up everywhere in the ashram this reminder that you all know. Always behave as if the mother was looking at you, because she is indeed always present in you, around you, everywhere. This is not a mere phrase, not simply words, it is a fact. I am with you in a very concrete manner, and they who have a subtle vision can see me. So to live a divine life is to live with a yearning to feel the mother constantly. That sums it up. Not just sometimes, but to want to feel her every moment of your life. In a general way, my force is there constantly at work, constantly shifting the psychological elements of your being to put them in new relations, and defining to yourself the different facets of your nature so that you may see what should be changed, developed, rejected. But that apart, there is a special personal tie between you and me, between all who have turned to the teaching of Sri Aurobindo and myself. So as the general Adi Shakti, she is working in every creature to help evolution forward. But she says there's a special personal tie between you and me, between all who have turned to the teaching of Sri Aurobindo and myself. And it is well understood distance does not count here. You may be in France, you may be at the other end of the world or in Pondicherry. This tie is always true and living. And each time there comes a call, each time there is a need for me to know, so that I may send out a force, an inspiration, a protection, or any other thing, a sort of message comes to me all of a sudden and I do the needful. Here's the importance of prayer, aspiration, calling to her. Many of us feel mother knows everything, why should I tell her? But here's what she's saying, and she explains it. Electricity is flowing everywhere. But when you pray, it's like you're plugging your socket into it. My force can flow through you into the circumstance, into the moment. So, and she often says, my sorrow is humanity doesn't call me enough, doesn't ask me enough. Because many people I've spoken to, they are of this thinking that I shouldn't ask the mother for anything. She knows she will do. But mother herself says, ask, because your asking makes my force effective and it formulates your aspiration. And I cannot underestimate the importance of aspiration in this yoga. So, These communications reach me evidently at any moment, and you must have seen me more than once stop suddenly in the middle of a sentence or work. It is because something comes to me, a communication, and I concentrate. With those whom I have accepted as disciples, to whom I have said yes, there is more than a tie, there is an emanation of me. So it's so beautiful. If she's accepted us as a disciple, and if we are here, she has accepted us, there's an emanation of the mother with each one of us. This emanation warns me whenever it is necessary and tells me what is happening. Indeed, I receive intimations constantly, but not all are recorded in my active memory. That is when she is in her body. Of course, now that she is out of her body, this doesn't apply. She knows everything. Things are recorded on a subtle plane. They are there in a latent state, something like a piece of music that is recorded without being played. And when I need to know with my physical consciousness, I make contact with the subtle physical plane and the disc begins to turn. Then I see how things are, their development in time, the actual result. And if for some reason you write to me asking for my help, and answer, I am with you, it means that the communication with you becomes active. You come into my active consciousness for the time necessary. And this tie between you and me is never cut. There are people who have long ago left the ashram in a state of revolt, and yet I keep myself informed of them. I attend to them. You are never abandoned. In truth, I hold myself responsible for everyone, even for those whom I have met for only 1 second in my life. She holds herself responsible for everyone, even for those who she has met for 1 second in her life. And somewhere else she has said that even for one moment, if you felt a true love for me, I've put a golden chain around your heart and you become my responsibility for lifetimes to come. So with this kind of assurance the mother gives us, aren't we very unintelligent if we get ourselves pulled down into negative states of upset, anxiety, revolt? Aren't we being so stupid? It's so simple to connect with her, but we forget all about her at that time. We'll spend time crying, fighting, arguing, trying to prove that I'm right. And I'm telling you, this happened to me last week. I had a disagreement with somebody close to me. I shared that. And the disagreement could have gone on and on and on, but fortunately, mother reminded me. I just stopped all that and connected with her, and it got sorted outside. Why don't we remember to do that? Why do we fall into that same folly of arguments, trying to prove I'm right, feeling upset, thinking of what's happened over and over again and feeding the upset, when I have such a simple, effective thing to do? At that time, do we even remember to connect with the mother? We don't, because if we did, we wouldn't be upset. And all of us are here because of our love for the mother, and we would all like to do something for her. But remember, what did she say? What pleases me the most is when my children are receptive to what I want to give. And every time I fall into this negative state, I'm closed, I can't receive. Even if the mother's in front of me, I can't receive. So, if nothing else, just the thought that I'm displeasing her should pull me out of my upset state. Because if she is really my priority, to make her happy is the most important for me, right? And whenever I'm unhappy and in those states, if she's a living mother, she's the most unhappy then. So what is more important to me? I should ask myself that question. and commit to not falling into these states in the future. That's my real gratitude to the mother. Somebody asked the mother once that, you've done so much for me, I want to do something back for you, what can I do? And the mother said, just be happy, your happiness is the biggest gift you can give me. So every time I fall into unhappy states, I'm withdrawing that gift to her. So that's the cost I'm paying for my unhappiness. And do I want to pay it is the question. So we end, the rest of it we'll continue in next class, but to end with this little passage from Savitri. For truth is wider, greater than her forms. 1,000 icons are idols they have made of her, and find her in the idols they adore. People find her in her form, in her idols, whatever. But she remains herself and infinite. So it's a beautiful thought to us that mother is not just in her form. She is this infinite energy which is everywhere. And every human being I'm interacting with, somewhere I'm interacting with the mother. Everything I touch, I'm touching the mother. So next class we'll explore her formless aspect. This class we were sort of focusing on her aspect of form. Okay, so just this, for truth is wider, greater than her forms. 1,000 icons they have made of her, and find her in the idols they adore, but she remains herself and infinite. And we'll just do this one more passage which sums up what we've been doing. It's from Adventure of Consciousness by Satbrain. When we sit with our eyes closed to silence the mind, we are at first submerged by a torrent of thoughts. They crop up from everywhere like panic-stricken or even aggressive rats. There is only one method to overcome this hullabaloo: to try and try again, patiently, persistently, and above all not to make the mistake of mentally struggling with the mind. We must shift our center. That's what I said. When we are upset, don't struggle with the mind, shift your center. All of us have above the mind in the overhead space or deep inside in the psychic being an aspiration, the very thing that has put us on the path, a need of our being, like a password that is effective for us alone. If we cling to it, the work is easier, for our attitude changes from negative to positive. And the more we repeat our password, what is our password? What is our our aspiration for her. He says that aspiration is a password that works for us. For our attitude changes from negative to positive, and the more we repeat our password, the more power it acquires. The more we practice aspiration, the stronger it gets. One commences with a method, but the work is taken up by a grace from above, from that to which one aspires. So, the little short meditation we did you notice you started by saying Ma, but after that, whatever happens was not your doing, something else took over. Whatever you felt, it can't be your doing, right? So something else takes over. The password is aspiration, but beyond that something else happens. One commences with a method, but the work is taken up by a grace from above, from that to which one aspires, or an eruption of infinitudes of the spirit. It was in this last way that I myself came by the mind's absolute silence. Sri Aurobindo says, unimaginable to me before I had its actual experience. Sri Aurobindo says the cup has to be left clean and empty for the divine liquor to be poured into it. Our only resort in these circumstances is to cling to our aspiration. What is aspiration? Our need to be with the mother no matter what happens. Aspiration is just this, a need to be with her. And allow it to grow and grow precisely through this terrible want of everything, like a fire into which we throw all our old belongings, our old life, our old ideas, our feelings, simply with an unshakable faith that at the end of this transition a door will open. And our faith is not foolish, it is not a credulous mindlessness, but a foreknowledge, something in us that knows before we do, sees before we do, and which sends its vision to the surface in the form of a need, a seeking, an inexplicable faith. Faith, says Sri Aurobindo, is an intuition not only waiting for experience to justify it, but leading towards the experience. How marvelous! So, Mother and Sri Aurobindo said that faith is not only a faculty of the surface mind. Faith is something that's always present in the psychic being. The psychic being knows. What is faith? The knowing of the psychic being that I'm living in a perfect universe, that everything in life works for me, never to me or against me, that there's a meaning in every curve and line. So this is already a knowing in our heart. And this knowing comes to the surface as an intuition which we call faith. And Sri Aurobindo says it so beautifully that faith is an intuition not only waiting for experience to justify it. So somewhere else we've discussed that faith is believing in what you don't yet see, and the reward for faith is seeing it. So it's an intuition not only waiting for experience to justify it, but it actually leads to that experience. Mother has said that if you get a faith that no, I'm going to be fine, the situation is going to be handled however terrible it appears, it means it has already been sanctioned on a higher plane. The faith comes to you because that outcome is sanctioned on a higher plane. So whatever the circumstance, if I hold on to the faith that Mother's with me, Mother's not only with me, she's in the whole world and everything. She's controlling things in a way I can't even imagine. And she's going to work it out for me. I'm not going to lose my sleep or my peace over it. Then I'll see, and that's what he's beautifully saying, that faith is an intuition not only waiting for experience to justify it, but it actually leads to the experience. Mother says that faith is the worker of miracles. Whatever the appearance of life, if you keep your faith, it is going to work out. But if you lose your faith and you kind of fall into negative thinkings, that negative thinking generates its own karma which will attract things to you which need not happen if you cling to your faith. So with that, we'll conclude our session today. Let's just sit and concentrate in our heart and listen to that intuition of faith which is already there inside us. Let me actually think of something that frightens me or upsets me, and then go deep into my heart with my password of aspiration to feel the Mother. And when I feel her, with the word Ma on the inhalation, Ma on the exhalation, feeling her comes with this reassurance of faith, as if I can just leave everything to her and know that she'll handle it in a way that I can't imagine. And then I fall into this soft repose inside, this peace of letting go of struggle, of effort to make things work. And Sri Aurobindo's lines from Savitri, where he says each of us feels like a bird who's being hunted by life, and the bird who has to keep flying, otherwise the hunter's arrow will shoot it down. I feel tired, but I have to keep going out of my survival instincts. But when we find the mother, it's like the bird finds a place to just rest its wings and know that it is safe. So the lines go, as might fly a soul like a hunted bird, escaping with tired wings from a world of storms, and a quiet reach like a remembered breast in a haven of safety and splendid soft repose. One could drink life back in streams of honey fire, recover the lost habit of happiness. Preen joy in her warmth and colors rule, a deep of compassion, a hushed sanctuary. Love in her was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in her single heart. So just making this pledge that next time I'm upset, instead of tangoing with that upset, I'll use my password to go within, feel the mother, allow the intuition of faith to come up, and keep my peace. Let mother fight my battles. She's much more equipped to do so. Why am I fighting them when I'm not meant to, beyond a certain point? Just with that, hands in a namaste, 3 ohms.